Hi, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do a tutorial on how to make a 9-patch block on the fly. Woohoo! Get them done quick, girl. So here I wanted to do a tutorial. It was upon request. One of you guys asked me how to do 9 patches that are easier than the regular way of making 9 patches where you have your squares set up and you're piecing individually those squares together. I do teach at the elderly community, and I wanted to make something easier for those who are ironing and cutting, because when we're working with the elderly community, a lot of them can't walk and they're wheelchair bound, so we can't have them cutting or ironing the fabric. So what I decided to do is to make a 9-patch that's easy to make. All you're going to need is 2.5-inch strips, the length of your fabric, so 45 wide. You're going to need 6 of them. I'm using scraps that I use for the elderly community, so I'm also participating and using up some of my scraps. I'm doing a challenge on September 10th of this year. You come and join me at Lorena's Quilting on my Facebook group. I'm doing a scrap challenge, and I'm going to also announce the winner of the challenge on my Facebook group. So I'm not going to announce it here on YouTube, because that's where you participate in the challenge. I will put a link on my Facebook group on the information bar, and a link on my 9-patch tutorial that I did years ago. You should check it out because my hair looked funky. I just look different, so yeah. And so I just wanted to share this tutorial. If you're teaching children, this is one of the easiest ways to teach. You just having them sewing the strips while someone else is ironing everything and cutting it, and then you end up having all these little pieces ready to make the blocks together. Also, because the issue of them having to cut the fabric, you don't want children with a rotary cutter. And for me, I did it this way because I didn't want the elderly standing, because some of them can't even walk.
Alright, so let's get started. You're going to need 6 strips 2.5-inch wide. I recommend you get 3 lighter in color tone and 3 darker. It honestly doesn't matter. It's whatever you have available to you. Here I'm showing you the strips, and I'm going to make a set of 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 lighter tone colors with a dark and 2 darker tone colors with the light. And this is really great to teach somebody how to sew a 1/4 seam allowance to go all the way down the length of your yardage. Here you see me having 2 dark with a light in the center, and earlier you saw me having a dark with 2 lights. We're going to go ahead and iron. This is really important because this is what connects your 9-patch together. What I'm doing is I'm ironing the red towards the white, and on the opposite end I'm doing the same thing, and I'm just showing you what I'm trying to say here. You go ahead and iron the back, and I recommend you iron the front. Make sure your seams stay all in the same direction, and then we're going to go ahead and start cutting everything. I have 2 layers of pieces of fabric on top of one another, and I'm going to cut 2.5 inches all the way across and all the way down. If you have your strips 3 inches wide, cut this area 3 inches. If they're 4, cut 4. And you just go all the way down until you're finished with all your yardage and have all your pieces together. And then we're going to the next part. After you're doing, you're going to go ahead and make your block. Make sure in the areas of your block that you have the opposite colors. What I did earlier is I'm just showing you how I put it together, and this is why ironing is very important. It allows your seams to tuck into one another. On my other tutorial I show you how to pin, but honestly you can get so good that you don't have to pin, and you just kind of snuggle those seams together and make your blocks. Here I stacked 10 of my blocks together, and I did the opposites. Here I'm showing you how I go ahead and stitch all these blocks all at one time as I'm going along. What I do is I always grab the one closest to me and I start sewing it. This is why ironing is very important, and all you have to do is snuggle those seams together and then make perfect 9 patches. And I keep going along until I get to the very last block, and just remember the opposite colors go together, meaning if you have red, white should be on top of it. If you have white, you should have red on top of it. And then you're going to go ahead and start sewing the other areas of your 9-patch. Here I'm going to go ahead and open this up right here, and I'm going to get the pattern that's closest to me and make sure that it's the opposite, and go ahead and start stitching it. I literally sewed these 11 blocks in less than 45 minutes, If you're new at this, it may take you a little longer, but you end up having a lot of blocks done, probably give or take in an hour. That's why the ironing is very important. Make sure you're ironing in the same direction, meaning if you're ironing towards your white, go ahead and use the other fabrics, iron towards the white too. And this snuggles up all those seams perfectly in line. Now we're going to go ahead and just cut that little piece of thread right there, and we're going to go ahead and iron. You're going to do the same thing in your ironing, and the reason is if you want to connect these, you want to make sure that they connect right. So I'm ironing all those seams towards the red. It doesn't matter how you iron, it's up to you. Just make sure that the opposite block, the seams go in the opposite direction. So these seams are going out from the center, and on the other one, I'm going to flip it over. They're going in towards the center. And the reason you're doing this is so that if you want to put your blocks together, they interlock with one another.
So I really do hope you like this 9 patch. Look how many I got. I got 11. I got a deck of cards here of 9 patches.